Good morning, everyone. It is May the 18th, 2016. Time to kick off another trading day. The market's going to open today with very little in the way of news overnight, nor news scheduled for this morning. The biggest news today will be the FOMC, and the selling started yesterday on two Fed governors' comments that interest rate increases are on the table for the June meeting. And the FOMC minutes will be searched, scrutinized, pored over to see if the language at that meeting last month supports the speeches given by two Fed governors yesterday. So FOMC minutes are where the market's attention will be. Both these markets, the financials and equities, have been sold in anticipation of hawkish sentiment coming from the lips and mouths of the current Fed governors. So we will see if that happens. Atlanta business inflation expectations, don't know what it is. Previously it was 1.7%. Crude inventories, this is interesting, minus 3.1 million barrels. And the talk this week has been how fast the drop in production has been and how fast inventories above ground are being used up because of the demand created by lower gasoline and diesel fuel distillate prices. So we'll see if that happens. As you can see, volume, and this really is the key right here. This is what your eyes should go to. Volume is moving lower in the distributions, and that favors a retest of support and or lower prices. And what you can see right up here is that the controlling volume is up here in this area. This volume was higher in yesterday's day session, but it did not take out that volume. And because of that, the market can still trade lower. If that volume had been taken out, then things would look different than they do this morning. We are right at resistance. So resistance begins at 8 to 12. Our first sell is aggressive, 7 to 11, sell 1. 15 to 19, sell 2. Would like to get it done closer to 12 than to 8, but 8 might be it. Support starts at 4. We've got an attractor at 2. We've got a low volume number at 1/2, so I'm kind of counting on the market being taken out, this low volume number at 4.5 being pulled to 2. So we'll try to buy 1s to 29s. I'm going to put a question mark at 4.5 or 5. It might be what it takes to get in, then 21 to 25. But if the E-mini rallies this morning, trades up a little bit, we probably have a shot play for stops below 130. As we approach the summer season, and the summer season, it's a different kind of trading. You just have to put trades on early in the session, and if you expect to make a lot of ticks on that particular trade, you're going to have to plan on staying with it through the lunch hour, maybe through the end of the day. And if you catch it right early in the session, that pivot indicator can really hold you in a trade for a long time. The problem with all indicators is market trending, or is it in a bracket? The pivot indicator, or the MOM indicator, is a trending tool, just like moving averages are. And if the market is not trending, it's not very effective. So, as with everything, we as traders do the heavy lifting. Are conditions right for the market to trend? And once you go past news induced trending, then it becomes pretty nebulous, pretty fuzzy at the edges, hard to say. And nobody can predict trend days. They happen 2 or 3 times a month. Just something starts the market moving directionally, and the momentum increases. Looks like I'm starting to watch this KL period right here. This is Frankfurt, Paris time, then London. And I think the range extension, for those of you that trade overnight, taking out the KRL period high or low is a good place to initiate a trade. Then you got to get follow through buying or selling to stay with it. So 16 to 20 is potential resistance. 23.27 sell 1, 31.03 sell 2. On the buy side, we're in it, so 6 to 10 is 1. That's picking up this low right over here, picking up that low right there. The buck to 04 will be buy 1. I like to get it done against 165 and 65.01 without news, and we have no news this morning. Should bounce the market at least back up to the 5 or 6 area. And then 21 to 25 for buy 2. Gold was off a bit overnight, suggesting that equities might come off, might hold this morning and not break. We've got resistance at 80 to 85, and we've got support at 65 to 70. And we're looking at the same numbers we did yesterday. So 70, 72, buy 1. High volume area right here, 65, 67, buy 2. On the sell side, 79 to 81. 84, 86, sell 2. Pretty tight trading range, but again, I believe the bias is to the upside. And if you don't like what happened to you today in gold, especially if you own this physical, wait a day or two. It's kind of the same situation that we're in the stock market. If you don't like the price action day, if you're long, not short, wait a day or two and see what happens. Usually, a Fed governor or Yellen or somebody will bail you out. Interesting looking at some of the stats overnight. There's a transportation article that I will post. Since 1914, shipments are down 15%. From April of 2015 to April of 2016, shipments, that's truck, rail, air, train, barge, are off 4.9%. I mean, everybody points to the stock market, and frankly, cooked numbers by our reporting agencies. You will report this or else as, you know, economic strength. It's an election year. Things are bound to get better. But underneath the surface, if you look at people out of work, if you look at people added to work, there's still a couple of million people out of work than were at work in 2008, 2007. 94 million able-bodied people don't work in the United States. 1 out of 5 families have no adults producing income. Those are pretty grim statistics. It's not economic boom times. I know it's Bush's fault, somebody's fault, etc., but we don't look to the real cause of things. It is the size of the bureaucracy, it's the rules and regulations, it's an onerous tax system. And that's what's holding us back. Be you a Democrat or be you a Republican, that's where the battle is. Okay, 113 even, 113.10 was support, now resistance, sell 1 on the euro. 25 to 35, sell 2. On the buy side, we had 75 as a buy. That still looks reasonable. Buy 1. 12.50, buy 2. Like the short side better, but there's a good chance the low was set last night, and we're going to search for where resistance is. And I imagine that 113 even, 113 and a quarter is where resistance is. 113 is a pretty aggressive sell. 113.25 isn't. Crude oil I think we're headed to 50 bucks. Not today, but I think we're headed there. But today's one of those days where we have a catalyst that just might get us there. 50 bucks isn't that far away. That's $1. This thing can move on big days $2 to $3. Every now and then you see a $4 move in one day. Everything's a P. Everything is pointed higher. And that's where we have it. So stops above the overnight session high, 49.25, 49.50, sell 1. 49.75.50, sell 2. And 49.90, 49.95 leaning against 50. Somebody's going to take profits when we get to 50 bucks. The breakout came from 48.50, so 48.50, 48.25 by 1. 47.75, 48 even by 2. Looking for a draw of 3.1 million barrels. Okay, lots of articles about who's buying, trying to sell it. VIX has really jumped. People are betting that the E-mini is going to trade lower. All sorts of things swirling around the market. It did start to sell yesterday. You can see right here that this 2030, 2035 area right in here is pretty important support. And we're at 41 right now. And we have 2 days of lower highs. We had a weak close yesterday. Looking at the F1 screen. Inside day looks like we're trying to start lower, and this could be a new move out of the middle. I mean, the fundamentals say we should be lower. And we're in the trading range now, approaching the bottom end of it. So if we go up here and we do a G split, and if we put all of this together, the market is pointed lower. If I go to the longest line of letters and left split, possible new distribution down. I think the market will test support at 35.37. So I like the short side first. No news to speak of today. Atlanta business expectations. Don't know what it is, but the last one was plus 1.7%. So 44.47, sell 1. 49.54, sell 2. On the buy side, 35 to 37. I think we can get below that, buy 1. And then 26 to 31, buy 2. And like the short side starting out, we'll see if we can't bust the 35-37 area, then we can trade back up. It's going to take a bit to get everything up and posted. I'm going to get busy on that. I will be back with you as soon as possible.